Hi everyone, I'm Mrs. Aiken and this is Unit 2, Lesson 2, and we are still in the middle of evaluating expressions. Remember, an expression is how we say or how we say a number sentence. Just like an expression is how we would say something in English, in the English language, we can also express numbers in a line like this, okay? And when we evaluate, it means that we solve or simplify. So when you see the term evaluate the expression, that means we are simplifying or solving a number expression, a number sentence, okay? So that's where we are on Unit 2, Lesson 2. And in Unit 1, or Lesson 1, we talked about how there is an order to doing this. Just like when we wake up in the morning, we put on our socks before we put on our shoes. We shower before we dry our hair and put on clean clothes. There's an order to how things are done. And when we say operations, we mean adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Down here, this is a way for us to remember this order. GMDAS. And you might remember this as PMDAS, but in 5th grade we're going to change that P to a G because we're going to talk about, especially today, we're going to talk about groups. So parentheses, brackets, and braces. And so groupings, multiply or multiplication, division, adding, and subtracting. Or, and a way to remember it is greet my dear Aunt Sally. So today, yesterday, I showed you a picture of shoes and socks. Well, today, I'm going to show you a picture of a mouth. Well, Mrs. Aiken, what does that even have to do with what we're talking about? Well, if any of you have ever had braces, I know I have, this has a lot to do with grouping and the order of how things are done. If you've ever had braces before, the very first thing you do is you get brackets, okay? And then you get braces. So brackets look like this, and braces, because they put the brackets clear back behind there, and they look like these kind of square things that go up over the tooth, and then these braces are glued onto each tooth so the wire can be connected between each tooth and then hook back onto the braces. And so the braces are kind of these wonky things like this, right? They kind of look like those curvy, funny looking things, okay? But the very, very first thing we do is parentheses. And I like to think of parentheses as your smile out here. So the parentheses is your smile. The brackets go inside your smile, and then the braces go inside your brackets. Okay, so we work from the inside out. Okay, parentheses go first, then the brackets, then the braces. That's how we remember groups. That's the first of GMDOS. Okay? That's the very first step in groups. Okay? Parentheses is first, brackets is second, braces is third. Okay? Parentheses, brackets, and braces. Those are the groups. Groups. Multiply. Divide. Add. And subtract. Okay? That's our order of how we get things done. So let's practice this a little bit. We're going to do these kinds of things. This is something that you and your learning coach have at home. And I want to work through a couple of these so that you and your learning coach can do the rest of them together. This is in your, This is in your activity book. I'm on page 3. And so this is in page 3 of your activity book. So you can follow along with me right now. Open up to page 3 in your activity book, and we can get started. Okay, let's do this together. The most important part of following along and doing the order of operations is that you keep everything nice and neat so that you don't get mixed up. So, if we look at our expression here, we have brackets and we have parentheses inside these brackets. And remember, I'm going to put this out here so that I don't forget. This is our order of operations. Write that out there so that you don't forget either. Now, I have to look first. Do I have any groups present? Well, yeah, I have a lot of groups present. I have parentheses here. I have parentheses here. I have brackets here. I've got all sorts of things. And so let's look and see. It's going to talk us through step by step on how we want to do this. So let's solve this together. The first thing it wants us to do is add 3 and 17. Why is that? Well, remember, parentheses was the very first thing in groups that we do, right? Parentheses, then the brackets, then the braces. So we work from the inside out. 3 plus 17 is in parentheses, so we're going to add those together. So 3 plus 17 is 20. I'm going to keep these brackets together, though, because we still have things that are in the brackets. So 4 times 2 minus, and I'm going to copy everything else. Everything else goes exactly as it is. The only thing I've solved right now is 3 plus 17. Okay? Now, it wants us to multiply 4 times 2. So we're going to get this whole bracket completely finished. Okay? So, that's an 8. But I'm going to bring, because 4 times 2 is 8, but I'm bringing everything else down. Now, I don't have to, at this point, put anything else in brackets. Well, I guess I could put it in brackets if I wanted to, just to keep things nice and orderly. But I'm going to put everything else in brackets and braces and bring everything else down just to keep it nice and neat. Subtract 20 from 8. That's the next step. Or subtract 8 from 20, excuse me. That is the correct way to say that. 20 minus 8 is 12. And now I don't need the brackets. So I can say 12 minus 9 minus 2 times 2. Do you see how I'm bringing everything down every single time? It's so important. Don't try to solve more than one thing at a time. We're doing one step at a time in order. You wouldn't try to put on 2 socks at a time or 2 shoes or God forbid, try to dry your hair in the shower. Okay, that would be a disaster. Same thing here when we are evaluating the expression. We have to go one step at a time. Now we're going to move over to this group. See, we're still working with the group, okay? So here's the group over on this side. Well, we work from the inside out. So parentheses go first, okay? Multiply 2 by 2 because it's in parentheses. 4. Okay, 2 by 2. But I'm going to put this in brackets, bring everything down just to keep it nice and neat. Okay? Now, I can, because we're still in our groups, we have to subtract. Okay? So subtract 4 from 9, which is 5. Bring everything down. 12 minus 5. And now, do we have anything to multiply? Nope. Do we have anything to divide? Nope. Do we have anything to add? Nope. So the only thing left now is to subtract. 12 minus 5 is 7. And we did it! But we had to do it very carefully, one step at a time. And I love how cool it is. It forms like a V, right? We worked all the way down until it was perfect. All right, let's turn over to page 4. And let's work out, let's look at number 8 before we go, okay? Let's work on number 8 before we go. We have this one here. We've got, if we go GMDOS here, okay? We've got 2 sets of parentheses and 1 set of braces. So let's solve the parentheses first. That's our very first step. We got to move from the inside out. 32 divided by 4 is 8. And let's bring everything down. Divided by 4 times 8. Okay. And then we can say, well, here, I guess we could do that too. Then this, we'd have to solve this parentheses. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Bring that parenthesis down. Okay. Times 8. Now, this is multiplication and this is subtraction, but this is still in a grouping. So we have to do this one first before we multiply. 8 minus 5 is 3. Bring down the multiplication. And now we can multiply. 3 times 8 is 24. Don't let it